Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Zealwood and welcome to the first ever reaction video on the Zealwood channel. A very special day indeed. So special, in fact, I've actually put a shirt on to mark the occasion. So big news, which we're about to go through together, right? So, for those who haven't seen the trailer, I would recommend you watch that first. I'll put a link in the description anyway, just so you can click it. But I'm gonna try not to interrupt this trailer as much as I can, right? But I probably will pause in between. So, again, try to watch it all first on your own, and then come back to watch this one, because I hate it. See, I hate it when people pause trailers when we're trying to watch the fucking trailer, right? So, highly recommend it. So, without further ado, let's have a look then. Let's watch it together.
Demons from... Don't do it! It seems your turn. I'm not acceptable. What was it done to me?
Arise, Diablo, Lord of Terror.
20 years. It did indeed.
Though this be our darkest hour, it may yet be your greatest moment.
Wow, look at this. Look at that. Look at the lighting effects. The way it interacts with the environment and the particle effects. Look, fuck. Look at the difference. It's crazy. Now, I'm not going to lie, right? I'm not going to lie. This is not the first time I've watched this video. Now I think about it, I wish it was the first time I watched it, because then my reaction would be quite genuine. But I'm not going to lie. I must have watched this trailer about 9 times, 10 times since yesterday. It's because it was released yesterday. So I've had a good look at it, right? And yeah, look how different it is. Each character is so different. Like, yeah, it's strange to see how they've tried to incorporate realistic facial designs onto the, the sprite, the kind of old 2D sprite kind of characters. Interesting. I wonder if they'll allow some sort of character customization maybe for those who don't like the look of some of the characters. But, well, I suppose we'll find out. We'll find out. Now, if there's one thing I didn't even notice, right? In the 9 times I watched this trailer, I only picked it up on the sixth time. And that is the auras, the paladin auras. Look how old-fashioned the paladin auras look. It's like, I'm so glad they've kept that. I'm so glad, because for people who haven't played this game, Diablo 2, for whatever bizarre reason, you may look at those auras and think, oh, they don't look very modern, do they? Considering the super high textured environments of the game, the blood effects, everything. And then you'll see the aura and you're like, oh, bit out of place. It's not out of place. It's fucking perfect, right? Take my word for it. Oh, and I'll tell you what, Act 3. Wow, look at this. Look at this. Stone designs. Oh, imagine how nice the swamps are gonna look. Oh, fuck. Can't believe it. This, oh. On PC and consoles. The cross progression. There's no excuses, guys. You can play with everyone. You can play with your friends, your fucking family, your fucking grandmother. If you want to buy her a copy. I mean, everyone can play. The items, I'm a bit curious as to how they'll make the items look, because if you play Diablo 2, you get a lot of item drops, especially if you're doing end-game content, or if you're like farming Act 5 or Act 4 hell you know, Diablo. There's items everywhere, and they're they seem a little bigger. Like, that's just a portion. Wow, that's pretty big. Like, if you consider that to the assassin's leg, her foot, that's got to be about, you know, in a 3D world. Jesus, that's a big ass portion. Unless that's just me, you know. But be interesting to see. Look, it's the first time. I've just realised I haven't been playing this on full screen. Whoops. Right. Whoopsie. Right, so look, that's the first time, right, we've ever actually had a HD kind of 3D representation of Mephisto. Wow, look how different he looks. Most people thought he was a ghost, like a transparent kind of figure. No, he looks kind of fleshy and bone, just with the smoky. There he is, the big boy. Resurrected. 2021. Oh, yes. Well, I tell you what, guys. I tell you what. You know, the first time I watched this trailer, right? You know how it made me feel? Imagine you walk into, imagine your boy or girl, right? You walk into a nightclub, right? Going out for a drink. You walk into a nightclub, right? And you see someone extremely attractive, right? And you're like, wow. It's like, it's not love, it's desire, right? And I fucking get that. So some sort of similar feeling on my chest, right? Oh my god, I cannot wait for this fucking game. Oh my days. And you know what, right? So a lot of people were a bit worried, myself included, right? So as we know, well, if you know Diablo 2, I think it's capped at 24 FPS. 24, right? That's not a lot. Which gives it the, you know, the kind of... Hopefully I'll get a section view here. Ooh, right, okay. So it gives it a kind of...
It may yet be
it's old, you know, it's definitely dated, right? So people were worried, how can they incorporate... So again, if you're familiar with Diablo 2, you've got faster cast rate, faster attack rate, attack speed... faster cast rate, yeah, FCR. Faster attack rate, you know, you've got recovery frames when you get hit. And people are wondering, well, if you know Diablo and you've got almost capped faster cast rate, your character is super fast casting spells, boom, 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 boom. You know, how are they going to incorporate breakpoints into a 60 FPS game? And in actual fact, they have not done that, which we're going to find out on this video. So, they haven't done that. What they've done is they've claimed, well, obviously they're telling the truth, I can imagine, because they're fucking devs. But what they've done is they've incorporated a 60 FPS overlay, so to speak, a graphical engine on top of the 24 capped FPS gameplay, which is a bit unusual, but hopefully on this video they'll explain a bit, right? Because I watched this last night and it's pretty interesting.
Streamer, I have been playing Diablo 2 for 20 years.
Here's Llama Llama,
for
look.
6 years. I probably have over 25,000 hours in this game.
25,000.
And just absolutely love it. After the look of it, right? How you wanted it to visually exist. And I'd love to bring in Chris Emerald to talk about some of that. Chris.
The models with the environments should really ignite that nostalgia and then reinforce that emotional connection from the original game. And then we came up with like a 70-30 visual guide. 70% is basically the classic. This is where we don't touch what works, right? We want to maintain those iconic shapes, colors, tones. Everything should be one-to-one and faithful.
That's at a reduced FPS, it looks like.
To the original. We want things to feel authentic and preserve those original designs. With the 30% new, like that's kind of like where we're going to elevate that art. Every change we make should really signify that step forward visually.
I also noticed that the game was 3D, and can you talk a little bit about the discussion or how you move?
By the way, guys, I'll put this video in the description as well for those curious. Quite a long one, 44 minutes, but very interesting, especially if you're interested in getting the new Diablo 2 Resurrection.
And some challenges moving from 2D to 3D.
Well, I mean, evolving from a 2D sprite game, like a 2D image game, to a 3D is very challenging. We basically had to write a complete new PBR renderer, so a physically based renderer on top of the old game logic. It's difficult because you're dealing with, you know, models versus 2D sprites where you have
Look at the difference. Fuck. How can you base concept art on that? It's like, it's good design, like pixel art wise. Like I dabble in pixel art myself, and that's pretty nice design. Like look at the detail on the shield. Wow. But create, you know, being inspired for 3D models off sprites like this, I can imagine, is very difficult.
Basically, right? You have
very difficult.
Dynamic lighting. You have dynamic VFX. Like a lot of that is an additional system that we have to work out on our end.
So the follow-up to that question, I suppose, is I wasn't able to see any items when I was watching that trailer.
Let's talk about the
drop in the game. So you have your icon.
Inventory looks a bit. I was hoping that they would. Oh, then again, they really can't. Can they increase the capacity, because people will cry about that? Oh, it's not true to the original Diablo 2 experience. Yeah.
On art.
I suppose, but oh, okay, yeah. So there's no point trying to find it in this video because it'll take too long. Because it's a long ass video, and I should have prepared more before I clicked the record button. So yeah, long story short, that's a bad frame.
Really does help.
Let's change the frame. That doesn't help either.
To give it some.
Let's just click here.
Go back and it's like 4 white sprites.
Wait, hold on. One other thing I will just mention about this video, which I thought of yesterday.
Like either
let me find one of the. Okay, there we go.
Legacy toggle feature where you can flip back between the old visuals of the game and our current visuals. It's not even just a simple art swap. It is really the old game running underneath, because like Chris was mentioning, our new our graphics engine is running on top of the game, and is mimicking what is running underneath. It's still following all the same data and rules and timings of everything. So we are still being true to that 20 frames.
My apologies, guys. Fuck me. Please don't slaughter me. 25 FPS. I humbly apologize. My bad.
Per second of what the game is underneath, but rendering it in a way that has more frames per second.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah. There we are. So as he said, it's simply, if this is a 24 view attack, 1, 2, 3, 4 frames, all they're doing is they're just incorporating the middle frames to make it look more smoother, when in actual fact, the game itself underneath isn't considering that the graphical performance is better. It's just running its course. They've just put a better graphical engine on top of the game, which does not hinder the game whatsoever. So, and I gotta be honest, right? Like I said, anyone watching who's curious, you should watch this video. I would recommend watching it all, because they do talk about some really good stuff. And like, you can tell, like these devs, right? You can tell just by their facial expressions, just by the way they speak, their body language, that fuck me, that they love this game. They love what they're doing. Like the way they talk about it with so much enthusiasm. It's nice, you know. It's gonna be a really successful, I hope, remake. Remastered. So yeah, you know, we have to wait and see. There's so many things. There's so many little things that, you know, a lot of the fan base is going to oversight, such as so just to mention the things they have stated on this video is gold pickup. So when you walk over gold, you can pick it up automatically, but you can toggle it off for people who don't want that, which is good. They've done a shared stash, so a lot of people, myself included, the fact that you have to create mule characters to store items for you because of limited inventory space, that's a bit so they've fixed that now with a shared stash, I'm assuming for all your characters. So they're probably going to have a character limit, but you know, for the average player, you won't notice. You stick your stuff, long story short, you stick your stuff in a box, you take it back out again, no matter what character you're on, similar to Diablo 3.
So the shared
Right, okay. So, yeah, the shared stash, here we go. Wow, that's a low one. Unless the personal stash has a lot of tabs. Shared stash, okay, yeah. Interesting. The old runes look. I like how they're giving them a slight 3D edge to them. Well, I don't think I've seen that before. So yeah, I think like gameplay wise there won't be any difference. At least not that I can guess. Because again, there's too many hardcore fans. Like some people don't like innovation, you know? It's a classic, so they gotta tread carefully. Like rune words will 100% be back. Well, it'll be a copy and paste of the game. It'll be a copy and paste. Like whether they'll incorporate new rune words, whether they'll incorporate new kind of end game content, but again, you know, they got to be careful. They got to make it so optional, it's so optional that people won't cry about it, because that's the best way to explain it. You know, you got one half of the community, well, it's not half, sorry, we'll say one part of the community which are like, yeah, you know, it's a remaster, give us as much as we can get and we'll enjoy it anyway, you know. I suppose I'm quite under that bracket, I suppose, because more content, like it's a great game, you know. Diablo 2 is, like I said, it's a fucking classic, so they could have it mirrored, a mirror image, exactly the same game, right, and it would be brilliant, because it just looks prettier, nice. I'll take my money. Here's my money, take it. But you know, if they're willing to also incorporate additional content, such as, like I said, more rune words, maybe like something similar to what the modding community have done. So like, if you're familiar with Project Diablo 2, you know, Path of Exile, a couple of other ones, they've incorporated a kind of more immersive end game experience. So Diablo 2, it is a bit infamous for farming the same stuff over and over and over. At least with Diablo 3 you get rifts, greater rifts, you know, that kind of thing. But with Diablo 2, back then it was kind of like, you know, you farm Bale for XP. Or, well, if you want to mix it up, you farm Diablo, then Bale for XP. All the time. Boom, 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 boom. All day. And then if you want to get drops, you'd go to the pit. You know, you go to certain places like the, I can't remember any other ones, but the pit. The archives, you know, the, Arcane Sanctuary, I suppose you could go there. Couple of other ones, but like it was kind of, I don't want to say boring, but very a set out path. You know, if you wanted to farm, if you're this character and you wanted to farm items, you go here. You know, kind of very set, very optimized by the community, but set. You know, there was no kind of, you know, if you were a fire druid, you couldn't really level up. You couldn't farm kind of like the desert areas because you'd have a lot of fire immunes. Or if you were like an ice sorceress, you couldn't level up in the, like the, what's it called? The Glacial Trail, I believe. Something like that, I don't know. But anyway, so rambling again. What I'm trying to say, right, is if they do incorporate some sort of end game optional content, which doesn't actually affect, I don't know, how could you do it? How could you keep everyone happy? Well, the short answer is you can't. Someone in the community is going to mourn, right? Someone is, whether it's the hardcore old school people that say, oh, it's too, you're making changes to it, you know, it's not the same experience I had 20 years ago, blah, blah, blah. Or you're going to have the people that are like, well, if it's 100% copy and paste of the old game, why don't I just play the old game? Which, there's probably going to be a few people out there that say that, but there are, you know, there's going to be loads of different, it's a broad spectrum to cover of people, you know, the fan base is fucking huge. So, I don't know, like, I don't know what they'll do, but I cannot wait to find out what they do, because either way, I've pre-purchased it already, you know. I'm getting this game no matter what. I don't give a fuck if it, I don't care, right, if they took out half the content, I'd still fucking get this game, because it's so, again, I want to leave what I'm certain things I say to a review, because, you know, that's when we're going in-depth look at game mechanics, you know, the way the game works, stuff like that. But just as a first impression, it looks good, you know. It looks very good. Let me check on, where's the other video? Oh yeah, we're on it. It just looks really familiar, you know, but with, I suppose the one thing I will mention is I hope when they, like, this druid, his cast rate, his cast speed was obviously 0 there because he's casting quite slow. But it'll be interesting to see what super fast casting is, you know, with a 3D kind of world, because back then, you know, your arms would be flailing super fast, ultra speed casting spells. I wonder if it look a bit unusual in a 3D kind of world, but we'll find out. Yeah, so I haven't really got much else to say about it. Like the particle effects, look at the lighting. It's so intense. Like, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's kind of like, it's really vibrant, but like the textures, you know, they're very high quality, glossy, kind of realistic textures, but it's like, I'm not sure if it's the lighting that makes it. Yeah, there we go, perfect. So look at the difference between this and then the lighting here. Like the lighting, which I love, you know, I'm so glad they've done this. It's over the top, you know, it's so in your face. Like this, watch now. Oh my god, probably the best 2 seconds of the whole fucking video. Well, 1 second. Honestly, like, I cannot wait to review it. I literally cannot wait to review it. I cannot wait. So yeah, anyway guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, this is my first attempt at any kind of, you know, first impression video or talking about something that's not in a review, essentially. So like I said, I've tried to keep it a bit laid back. You know, I haven't got anything written down. I'm just speaking from my mind here. Thought I'd do a little bit more laid back, you know, just because, well, why the fuck not? Why not? Evolves into Boba Fett. So yeah, with that then, I'll leave you to it, guys. It's really been a pleasure. Yeah, like I said, if you get a chance, click on those videos. When the game is released, I will be making a review, 100%. So yeah, you know, if you enjoy the content, make sure you are subscribed. And yeah, so as always, guys, all the best. Take care.